Doran the Truth Teller has another one for us. Void Planet, new cities, 5 new zones revealed in the World Soul Saga. Whoa, are we gonna go see? I'm gonna let the video play. Let's see what happens here.
The World Soul Saga is all about returning back to the old world, old Azeroth revamps, so obviously we already know the setting of all the 3 upcoming expansions. However, cleverly enough, Blizzard has been setting up multiple brand new zones we are yet to discover through the quests, the documents, the books, and all the zones I'm going to mention in this video have been confirmed to be in the game, and essentially it is
boom. I told you guys he's a truth teller. They've all been confirmed, so this ain't no speculation. Buckle up.
Of time before they actually appear. As you may remember, back in Legion, we knew the setting of Legion, it was going to be in the Broken Isles, yet we got the entirety of the world of August. Something like this will be happening in the World Soul Saga as well. If you want to get Dragonflight or anything else warcraft related, here's some excellent deals that you can check out with my link below.
Use the man's link.
Software, gift cards, a bunch of games at below market prices. On top of that, you can also use my code Doran to get yet another discount, so make sure to check out my link.
Use the man's code. Do the Game Evo. Help him support
and grab some amazing deals at Gamevo.
There you go.
While we already know the setting for pretty much the next 3 expansions, War Within will be on Khazakar, Midnight on the Eastern Kingdoms, Last Titan in Northrend, there shouldn't be any new sort of like crazy new continents we're yet to discover, but keep in mind, when I say continents, I mean something the size of Pandaria or Northrend, like fully fledged continents. However, there will almost 100% be new undiscovered zones, as well as potentially a smaller continent, and this is 100% confirmed. I mean, we have the documents, the writing.
We did have the whole documents dealing with Avaloren and another continent and pirate shit, and here we go, pirate expansion. Mike Ybarra, who tweeted out no pirates, no longer at Microsoft, no longer at Blizzard. Very interesting. Maybe he angered the pirates and they booted him out of the company. Who knows? But in all seriousness, yes, I expect there to be other continents, maybe other things going forward. We're definitely going to get something. Midnight, we do know for a fact that we are kind of going back to the upper northern ends of Eastern Kingdoms. We're going to get revamped. Silvermoon, Quel'Thalas, all that stuff is happening. We know that. And most likely, I think it's the Last Titan, we know we're getting the Northrend revamp. But that doesn't mean we're not going to get some new zones in between. So let's listen to what he has to say.
Matter of time before they actually show up in the game. As I stated, thinking back to Legion,
maybe they wanted to add pirates, yeah, so we got fired.
It was on the Broken Isles. This is where we spent most of the expansion at. But then we had a massive patch where we literally ventured to a whole new planet that by itself could have been an expansion's worth of content. Almost certainly, something like this will be happening in the World Soul Saga, and you can expect these to be additions to the currently planned and already announced settings. So let us start off with the 2 most likely zones and the confirmed zones that are hidden somewhere on Azeroth that are related to this entire World Soul Saga storyline. So the first one is Uldaz. You must have heard about this because it was actually added to an item in Dragonflight, but this location was actually first mentioned a couple expansions ago. The reason I say it is confirmed is because the item description says it can be used in...
We know these. Uldaman, Ulduar, Uldum, Uldir, Ulduras, Ulduros, and Uldaz. What the hell? Where is this? Where this item can be used in all these places. We haven't been to one of them.
All the Titan facilities mentioning Uldaz and all the other Titan facilities we had actually seen throughout the warcraft history. So we got Ulduar, Uldaman, Uldum, Uldis, Uldir. We had seen all of these zones in person, and all of these were various Titan facilities, some used for experimentation, some were headquarters, some were literally a world-exploding mechanism, but it was never clarified what Uldaz is and what it is used for. And keep in mind, the entire premise of this saga is the return of the Titans and us learning what the Titans are really about.
Chris Metzen literally said it at BlizzCon. He said we're going to find out why all these Titan facilities are, I believe he said, slapped into the side of our planet. So yeah, of course, the one that we don't know about, we're gonna end up visiting it. That totally makes sense.
And uncovering a vast conspiracy. So I feel like Uldaz might be saved for this banger, like this big discovery. It's probably not going to be some Titan pet stable, but very likely something where once we discover it, we might be thinking like, damn, these guys were actually up to no good on Azeroth. Like, this is gonna be the Titan facility where there really are no two ways about it. The Titans are not the good guys. Now, where this is going to be, it is hard to say. By the name name, it should be a Titan facility, not a whole zone. I mean, think about how Uldaz is a Titan facility in a zone called Storm Peaks. Most likely, we will uncover it in the War Within or the Last Titan, so either somewhere around Kazlagar or somewhere around Northrend. The other possibility is that it could be on Avaloren, which is yet another zone that will 100% be happening very soon as well in either of the 3 expansions. Now you guys must have heard about this a million times by this point, so I really don't want to repeat the exact same thing over and over again. Avaloren was a really popular next expansion speculation. It was even a part of that really believable fake leak, and then, because the leak was fake,
even though the leak was fake, the continent is not fake. That continent does exist. It is in game. It's the night squall and all that shit, that lore about that night elf who sailed to the other side and came back. That stuff's still real, and there are Titan journals revealing. It was from what's that jerk's name? Odin. Yes, talking about how he sent troops over there, or sent, you know, some Valjar, whatever, and they got destroyed. They got their shit beat. So there is another continent. This is confirmed, even though this, you know, this leak wasn't. You guys remember when the guy who created this leak came into stream, told us about it? That was freaking hilarious. He's also the creator of the Goblin.
And this is just some made-up name. However,
Dreadlord
this is a zone they can set up in Dragonflight that will manifest itself soon enough. Common misconception is that people think that Kazlagar equals Avaloren, but these two are completely different documents and completely different storylines. Keep in mind, I mean,
sooner than you think,
documents were discovered at the same time, and Kazlagar was just revealed, so you can expect Avaloren to be manifesting soon as well. What you do know about it is that it is almost certainly an island, because the document states the Titan expedition crashed on the waves. Titan Forge rebels have encamped here, and by this point most likely evolved an entire new civilization. Now, the reason I'm saying this is 100% happening is because the entire premise of the World Soul Saga is Titans are hiding something, and it is very likely these guys discovered this already in the ancient past, and they will be key in us learning what they are hiding as well. Other than this, we don't really know whether this is a tiny island, a huge new continent. We can only really speculate. However, we got 2 more super interesting hints as well. First is in 10.2 we got documents of a green dragon that ventured to a new zone beyond the storming sea, even though Tyr the Titan servant didn't like this, and apparently this green dragon formed a brand new Dragonflight there. This could potentially be a hidden part of Kazlagar we will discover in this expansion.
We also know that Blizzard likes to evolve creatures or beings or whatever, so like, you know, trolls go to a powerful font of power, they become night elves leave, they become high elves. Like, we know that evolution always happens, and it happens quickly in WoW. So I really think these green dragons, this new green dragonflight that flew off and discovered this new land and started a new flight, they're not going to be green dragons anymore. They could be some other type. They could have evolved into some kind of new flight or new color or whatever, and we're going to discover them. That's what I think is going to happen.
But it might very likely
Aqua
be
Dragonflight.
Avaloren. Second is those light humans. I mean, when they split from the Arati Empire, they ventured beyond the sea, formed a new kingdom on some type of a land, which is not on the continents we know of, as we explored all of them. And then, from this group, these light fanatics came down all the way to Kazlagar. Seeing that we never saw this kingdom on any of the continents we know of, and we never
interesting one. The light dragonflight. That could be cool, Tundra Freeze. Yes, a dragonflight based on the light, the true light, what he's kind of talking about right now with Hallowfall. You guys got to remember, we've talked about this a couple times now. The light that they use in Hallowfall is different from the light that we use in Azeroth today. So yeah, maybe we get a dragonflight that is based on the true light, or a light dragonflight. That could be interesting. I like that.
We never saw this kingdom on any of the continents
we know of, and
we never saw Avaloren. This could be that same place. Now, it is incredibly hard to say when, but Avaloren could be discovered in any of the World Soul Saga expansions.
They absorb the magic around them, true.
It will be the most relevant in the last Titan. Next down the line, we have something entirely different, and will almost certainly be related to WoW Midnight and the Void Invasion, and in my opinion, the most interesting zone we could find, and that is Karesh. If you're not familiar with the lore, Karesh is like a Void version of Argus. Back in the day, it was the homeworld of the Ethereals. It was invaded.
This is what I got like all chuckly and smiley over before I clicked based on the thumb. The Ethereals and their backstory of their planet that was destroyed by the Void and everything, I feel like that's going to become so relevant. Playable Ethereals, maybe? I don't know. I'm sure Doran's going to drop like 6 videos about whether or not Ethereals are going to be playable. And we'll click all 6 of them because he's going to debate us into clicking them, and they're going to be great. But Ethereals have been around for a long time. They are literally beings holding their bodies together through bandages with magic on them, because they're actually not like, we don't know what a real ethereal looks like original ethereals. We only know them in their post like planet destroyed form, which is this cloudy thing that has to be held together by magic. So going back to their planet, seeing it maybe pre destruction and maybe witnessing the destruction, so we realize what's about to happen to Azeroth, because we're worried now that the same thing is coming for us that came for them. I would love to hear more about the ethereal backstory, and I hope we get something about it.
Directly by the Void Lords, pretty much what will be happening to us soon as well. They resisted for
What
a
up,
while,
Kettle?
but ultimately it was destroyed by a Void Lord personally, and the Ethereal forms were shattered as well. That is why they became Ethereals, and the planet was then overtaken by the Void. However, since then, and keep in mind this was countless thousands of years ago, the Ethereals had dedicated themselves to traveling the universe and learning how they can fight the Void. I mean, there is not a race more capable in battling the Void than the Ethereals. Why I'm talking about this and where the evidence comes in is the start of Dragonflight, where we had discovered a coin and we learned that apparently the Ethereals are following us closely for some reason, but it was never actually explained what was going on. Then in an interview, one of the lead devs said, just wait and see, this Ethereal setup is a long-term game and it is relevant.
God, man, and look, if they really do Tuskar play, fuck Tuskar playable race. I want Ethereals. If they really go into the Ethereal storyline, this is gonna be so. I'm gonna be so damn excited for this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm giddy as shit right now that he's talking about Ethereals. This is gonna be so cool, and they can definitely be like, we've seen them. They have melee classes, caster classes. Like Ethereals do all this shit, so they could easily fit into the game. The only thing they probably wouldn't want to be is a Death Knight. That wouldn't make much sense. But Ethereals in general being playable, yes, that could totally happen. Going back and seeing their planet, yes. Let's do it. We know so much about the Ethereals and so little at the same time now. I can't wait.
Game and
I really think this could happen.
This was back around the start of Dragonflight, but
Pirate
then we
Ethereal
got
patch, yeah.
we learned that the Void is actually invading at midnight, and you can kind of connect two and two and realize that they might have known what is going to happen. The Ethereals are closely tracking the Void. They know something big is gonna come down to Azeroth, and they're 100% going to get involved. Now, how is Secret Rush happening is either a raid or a patch zone. We know one of the Void Lords took over the planet. It is likely they might have turned this destroyed planet into their headquarters, similar to how Sergeras turned Argus into a Legion base. Like, when we actually deal with the invasion, we gotta go there and strike the final blow. Dragonflight had two major patches. We got two big brand new zones. In terms of Midnight, we already know that they're going to enlarge and update the upper eastern kingdoms, but what could be the patch content? Either some island with the Naga or a new zone like this, which would be...
We know the Naga, they're going to play a role. Azara's coming back. Like, that stuff is happening. And that's probably what will happen at Midnight because they are Elven aligned. And, you know, the way Chris Metzen described the Midnight expansion is reuniting the Elven races. Playable Naga. I don't know. Everything doesn't have to be playable, but yeah, it could happen. So that was probably... Ethereals, if they show up, I imagine... It would have to be the Midnight expansion, wouldn't it? That's the Void invasion. That's when this shit happens. So maybe we do see them in the I can't see that being the last Titan. It'll probably be in Midnight.
Karesh. So this would be a super interesting and, in my opinion, the most interesting new zone we could get in the entire World Soul Saga. Next on the line, we of course have the enlargement of the known continents, and that is Northrend in particular. Recently we got the book War of the Scaleborn that gave us information on what Northrend looked like back in the ancient days when the dragons were around, and not only did Viranot have her lair somewhere around Storm Peaks known as Frozen Fangs, but most importantly, Iridikron, like one of the main villains of the entire Saga, had a cave system called Harrow's Deep. Saying cave system is a super understatement. I mean, this was a gigantic, mega, big villain base, like with lava pools, floating islands, tunnels that he can use to change direction. Just like a crazy underground super villain zone beneath Northrend that we had never actually previously discovered. Now, we don't know whether this was actually destroyed, but if he is going to be relevant in The Last Titan, he is going to definitely revive this system in Northrend. I can't say yet another...
I could see it being a patch/raid thing. We're gonna kill Iridikron. I don't see him surviving, because even though we're slightly aligned with him and that we don't like the Titans, his way of doing things is too fucked up. He's gonna have to be killed.
Underground zone is going to be the most interesting thing ever, but this is 100% confirmed. It was just added to the lore.
Whether or not we kill him in the War Within, I don't know.
And as you may know, in the last Titan, we are going to Northrend. Now, with all the heritage questlines that have been hitting us left and right, and everyone getting their cities back from the Worgen to the Night Elves and all this happening in definitely smaller patches, it is eventually going to be the time for the goblins and the gnomes to get their heritage questlines. Gnomes have been stuck in that Gnomeregan thing loop forever.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. Legion, defeated. Void, pushed back. What else you want? 2 Legion invasions defeated. Sargeras, a Titan, essentially defeated. Leper Gnomes, we can't beat them. We can't do it. No matter how powerful we get, we can have all the Legion artifacts in the world, all the best armor, all the best gear. We cannot defeat the Leper Gnome invasion. It's a problem. So, it would be cool for the gnomes to get their city back and to actually go. But didn't the Goblin Island like explode from a volcano? Isn't that the lore behind it? That like during the Cataclysm, their volcano erupted and destroyed their... I don't know if we can go back there, but we'll see.
And eventually it will have to get updated. However, with the goblins, I
don't think we kill him, but his sister does. Oh, maybe.
See, the goblins had a gigantic city called Undermine that we never actually saw, and the current status of the city is unknown as well. Undermine, as far as we know, is under Kazan, and as you may know, there was a gigantic explosion there with Deathwing back in Cataclysm, but even the origin of that explosion have been mysterious, like Blizzard purposefully made it mysterious. It has been evident that the goblins had been digging Azerite, and he discovered something possibly related to the World Soul, so it is entirely possible that through the entire World Soul element of the Saga and Kazan not being that far from Castlegar, we could be seeing the involvement of Undermine and the Goblins right now in the war within.
Maybe we help them rebuild after the eruption and everything, because if we go back now, for sure, it's just like a city of ruins. There's no way that it's still there. They evacuated that shit. But maybe we go back and find... Maybe we find Kazumite. Ah, the thing that made the goblins so smart. Yeah, we start resourcing, get that Kazumite build up every week. Go do your Kazumite runs, yeah.
Since Undermine is an underground city similar to Ironforge, Blizzard has been all about the underground technologies lately. Although I can't really say like, yay, yet another underground zone. You know, like it really feels like we're gonna be getting underground zones every time since Blizzard discovered this technology. But as we can learn from Castlegar, it can be done so that it doesn't actually feel underground. So that this isn't really just
Hellfall looks cool because it doesn't feel underground. I agree.
Simple cave. Plus, if you get the Isle of Kazan, Undermine could just be one portion of it. However, eventually something will have to happen with both the goblins and the gnomes. Thank you for watching. Check out how the light completely played us by clicking on the screen, and check out my video on ancient Greek colonies in Spain by clicking on the screen as well. See you next time.
Very cool, nice video. Not very speculative, honestly. Like, he dug straight into the lore, all the confirmed shit. The best part about this entire video is obviously the Ethereals. Going back to an ethereal planet, understanding their origin, maybe finding out what they actually look like, and seeing what happened. What happens when a Void Lord arrives and destroys your planet? Because that's what we're worried about happening to Azeroth. That could be a really cool backstory to play through, really cool zones to see, and obviously a very cool race in the Ethereals. I hope that shit happens, I really do. We'll have to wait and see.